So this is going to be a book talk about the book Divergent by Veronica Roth. This book is absolutely amazing, and I suggest that if you have not read it, go pick it up right now. Right now. Like, go to the store, drive your car to the store, and pick up this book because it's so amazing, and you need to read it, and because in this book talk, it contains spoilers. So if you haven't read this book, go to the store, buy it, read it, and then watch this video. So first off, let's start with the beginning. I loved the first line. It was absolutely amazing. It was an amazing hook to the whole start of the book, and that rhymed. So it was completely amazing, and I just totally was very interested with the beginning of the book, and I just wanted to read more and more and more and more, and I did, and I ended up finishing the book in about 3 days. So Tris is a Divergent, and at this point she's Beatrice, and I was like, okay, she's Divergent, don't know what that means, but apparently it's dangerous, and that's not good, and so she picks Dauntless, and reading the whole Dauntless initiation thing really scared the crap right out of me, because I would not be able to do anything that they did, especially at the end, the fear simulation room thing where you have to face all your fears. I'm definitely afraid of clowns, and facing that fear, I would definitely fail and be factionless and just die. Basically, I'm not Dauntless. Throughout this book, I actually placed myself in either Erudite and Amity, and it was kind of interesting to kind of place myself in that, because I was like, okay, if I was in this world, so I gotta put myself into the book. And because it's from the first person perspective, I constantly forgot Beatrice's name until like the end, because they said it more towards the end than they did at the beginning, so I constantly would forget her name and be like, oh yeah, this isn't me, this is someone else. So Caleb chooses Erudite, which I found interesting because I thought he was going to stay in abnegation, and it was the whole thing. So basically, my least favorite characters for the initiates were Peter, Molly, and Drew, and I think that reigns true for most people that read this book, because they are jackasses, and that is toning down my swearing quite a lot, since jackass really is not a swear. So I hated them, and I was so glad that Drew and Molly ended up to be factionless. I literally kind of did a cheer in my head. This is what you get for being a coward and like a you were factionless. This is what you deserve. This is what you get, Drew. So the whole Four and Tris romance, I kind of called from the moment he met her. I was kind of like, this is gonna happen, and I'm very good at guessing what happens in books because I read a lot. So I called it right from the beginning, and I was so happy that it took time to develop, because usually authors are jerks and they're like, oh, they're in love right now, and I'm like, no, it takes longer than that to fall in love. But I'm glad that they had this little like flirtationship going on, and then Tris was like, oh, he'd never, you know, it's not happening, and then Four was like, oh my god, you so pretty, girl, with your hair all did, girl, you're so pretty, and I was like, yay, they get the stuff. And so the moment he was like, I like you, and she goes, but you're older. Yes, a 2-year gap is so much older. Well, actually, it kind of is in this book, because she's 16, he's 18. You tend to forget that Tris is, like, 16 years old, and she's doing all these things, but I like how the author developed that relationship, and she was like, okay, this is going somewhere, it's going somewhere. So basically, when Four is in that trance, and he's gonna shoot her, she's like, maybe it's because I love him. And I'm like, through everything everything they've gone through, I can't imagine them not loving each other, because that relationship took a while to develop already, and it was kind of like they were already together, and it was like a flirtationship, and then they were together, and then it happens over like a month period, I want to say. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's okay. They can be in love. Like, it's completely believable that this could happen. So I just loved them together. The only problem I had was that Veronica Roth changed For's name towards the end of the book and then started calling him by that name the rest of the book, because it was really confusing. For into Tobias. I understand Tobias is his real name, but it was really annoying just sitting there reading Tobias. And, like, it was really, because I don't like that. They did that in, the Hush Hush series with Patch and Jem, and they're like, Jem's his real name. And I'm like, yeah, and then they never used Jem. So it was just really confusing for me, because other people call him For, she would call him Tobias, and then Marcus would call him Tobias, and then it was just so confusing, and I didn't like it. So in some way, I didn't really like how predictable the book was, but that's the good of all reading book, because you can guess. I also had a problem with Janine being the leader of the Erudite, because my mom's name is Janine, and I just couldn't take her seriously because my mom is so nice, and then Janine is so evil. So I was like, okay, well, that's all good and all. And so Tristan's mom, being like all divergent and stuff, she picked abnegation because she was gonna be like, oh, it's safer. So that's that. And, you know, she gave up her life for her daughter, and so did her dad. Oh my god, I literally cried. And then she shot Will, and I was like, oh my god, Will, no, I love you. Come back in this stuff. This book was so emotionally wrecking for me. I was like, oh, all this stuff. And, Overall, I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. Only 4 stars because I had a little bit of a problem with the writing, and then the whole changing Tobias For's name towards the end of the book. It was just a bad time for me. But other than that, this book is completely amazing, and I thoroughly enjoyed reading it and hope to get Insurgent soon. That's been a book talk with Courtney. Come back to my channel if you want more book talks, some reviews, some unpackagings of books, some book hauls, maybe a book tour. So, I'll see you in my next video. Lates! Bye guys, I love you. My hair looks so red in this